Good morning, viewers. You're watching Newsx and I'm Simran. Let's take a look at the breaking development that we are learning at this point of time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Bihar and Odisha today. PM Modi will lay the foundation stone and inaugurate multiple developmental projects including water, rail, power sector in Siwan in Bihar. PM is also going to flag off a state-of-the-art locomotive built at the Marhovra plant in Siwan for the export to the Republic of Guinea. PM Modi is also going to chair state-level function marking completion of 1 year of state government of Odisha and is also going to lay the inauguration and the foundation stone of developmental projects worth over 18,600 crore rupees in Bhubaneswar. My colleagues join me live from both Bihar and Odisha at this point of time. From Patna, I have Ritesh Mishra joining me live on the broadcast. Before I go to Akhya Maharana, Ritesh, what are you picking up? Today is a good big day for Bihar, and as in fact PM Modi is about to come and flag off the locomotive built there. What are there all the developmental programs that are on the cards?
बिल्कुल आपने सही कहा कि अब आज बिग डे है बिहार के लिए, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी 20 दिन के बाद दूसरी दफे आज वो सिवान आ रहे हैं और वहां पर तकरीबन 6,000 करोड़ योजनाओं का शिलान्यास करने वाले हैं, इनॉग्रेशन करने वाले हैं, जिसका लंबे समय से लोगों को इंतजार था। एक नई वंदे भारत ट्रेन भी बिहार को मिलने जा रही है, खासतौर पर सिवान और उसके आसपास के इलाके को लोगों को नई रेलवे ट्रैक का उद्घाटन हो रहा है। इसके अलावा जो लोकोमोटिव कंपनी है छपरा में, वहां से भी पहली बार जो इंजन है वो उसका निर्माण होगा और वो फिर दूसरे देशों से एक्सपोर्ट किया जाएगा। तो आज प्रधानमंत्री आ रहे हैं, 6,000 करोड़ योजनाओं का उद्घाटन शिलान्यास, ये आने वाले जो विधानसभा चुनाव है उसको लेकर काफी महत्वपूर्ण है। क्योंकि सिवान की अगर बात करें तो सिवान में कुल 24 विधानसभा की सीट्स हैं और ये बेहद इम्पोर्टेंट है। अगर सरकार में आना है, सत्ता में दोबारा वापसी करनी है, तो ये जो 24 सीट्स हैं ये बेहद इम्पोर्टेंट है। सिवान शहाबुद्दीन का गढ़ आज भी माना जाता है, आरजेडी का गढ़ माना जाता है और यही कारण है कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी सिवान आज आ रहे हैं। सारी तैयारियां जो हैं वो पूरी की जा चुकी हैं, बड़े पंडाल लगाए गए हैं ताकि लाखों की जो भीड़ है वो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को देख सके, सुन सके। इसके अलावा बिहार बीजेपी के जितने भी बड़े लीडर्स हैं, चाहे वो दोनों डिप्टी सीएम्स की बात करें, प्रदेश अध्यक्ष की बात करें और अन्य जो सेंट्रल मिनिस्टर्स हैं, वो सभी सिवान पहुंच चुके हैं। अब सभी को इंतजार है प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का। 11 बजे टाइमिंग है, उसके अनुसार प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी 11 बजे सिवान पहुंचेंगे और कई सारी योजनाओं का वो शिलान्यास करने वाले हैं, इनॉग्रेट करने वाले हैं। खास तौर पर प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत 6,000 से ज्यादा लोगों को वो नए मकान की चाबी सौंपेंगे। इसके अलावा प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत ही कई जो उसके जो बेनिफिशियरी हैं उन्हें वो पहली किस्त भी सौंपेंगे। तो आज बेहद महत्वपूर्ण है और खास तौर पर बीजेपी एनडीए के लिए विधानसभा चुनाव से पहले प्रधानमंत्री का आना बेहद तकफुल है। जी।
All right, in fact, Ritesh, thank you very much for adding this information. Now, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi en route to the two-day visit to the 3 states, the tour is going to encompass over the developmental projects. And if we talk about that, in Odisha, Akhya Maharana joins me. And what are going to be the key projects that will be slated for the inauguration in Odisha?
देखिए, उड़ीसा में भी कई सारे जो प्रोजेक्ट है उसको इनाग्रेशन और उसको आज जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी हैं यहाँ से इनाग्रेशन करने वाले हैं। और कहीं ना कहीं ये महत्वपूर्ण है, इसीलिए महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि उड़ीसा के 1 साल पूरे होने वाले हैं। लगभग 26 साल के सरकार के बाद उड़ीसा को बीजेपी अकेले सरकार गठन करने की उनको मेजोरिटी मिला और 1 साल पूरा हो चुका है। तो कहीं ना कहीं सुभद्रा योजना के बारे में जो मोदी जी पहले बोल चुके थे उसको भी कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ है और कैसे उसको लोगों तक पहुंचाया गया है, कैसे महिलाओं के जो महिलाओं को डेवलप करने की कोशिश किया जा रहा है, ये तमाम बारे में कहीं ना कहीं वहाँ कहीं ना कहीं वहाँ उठाया जाएगा। और कहीं ना कहीं जो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी एक साल के जो इस सरकार के तमाम जो उपलब्धियां, उसको भी सराहना करेंगे। और कहीं ना कहीं जो प्रधानमंत्री के रोड शो है, रोड शो में कई सारे लोग जुड़ेंगे और तमाम जो लोग हैं वो आएंगे। तो ये जो अरेंजमेंट में लगभग 133 प्लाटून पुलिस फोर्स भी नियोजित किया गया है, और तमाम जो रूट लाइन है उसमें भी 25 प्लाटून पुलिस फोर्स को नियोजित कर दिया गया है। तो कहीं ना कहीं जो ये जो एक साल पूरे होने के बाद ये एक बड़ा कार्यक्रम है। इस कार्यक्रम में प्रधानमंत्री मोदी आज जुड़ेंगे और यहाँ से कई सारे जो प्रोजेक्ट है उसको भी यहाँ से हरी झंडी दिखाएंगे।
All right, okay. Thank you very much for sharing the latest updates that you're tracking, as now the 3-state tour over the 2 next days by Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to focus over the developmental key projects. He's also going to flag off the first locomotive later today, which will be exported to the Republic of Guinea from the locomotive factory in Saran's Marhovra. The locomotive factory in Saran is India's first public-private partnership project between the transportation and the part of the American company Wabtec and the Indian Railways under the Make in India initiative. 150 locomotives made in India locomotives are going to be flagged off, while manufactured in Bihar's Marova factory is going to be exported to Guinea. Ritesh Mishra is joining me on that. As in fact in Siwan as well, Ritesh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to launch the Vaishali-Deora railway line project, which is valued over 400 crore rupees at a new train service. And if we talk about the railways inauguration and expansion, the locomotive built in Maura is also going to be India's first of its Make in India, Make for the World initiative that will be dispatched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi for an advanced locomotive manufactured at the Marhovra plant to Guinea. What are you picking up? Show us through the visuals if you can over how exactly this Make in India project and major push in partnership of in fact India with the world companies is going to look like.
अब बिल्कुल मढ़ौरा है, छपरा में है, और वहां पर रेल फैक्ट्री है, इंजन वहां पर मैन्युफैक्चर होता है। और ये बड़ी खुशी की बात है कि मेक इन इंडिया यानी सारी चीजें जो हैं वो देश में बनाई गई हैं, बिहार में और बिहार के छपरा में वो बनाई गई हैं, और अब उसका एक्सपोर्ट किया जाएगा। सबसे पहले लॉट में गिनी को कई सारे जो है रेल इंजन जो हैं वो एक्सपोर्ट करने हैं अलग अलग सेक्टर से। तकरीबन 1000 रेल इंजन के ऑर्डर मिले हुए हैं, और पहले लॉट में तकरीबन 70 से 80 जो रेलवे इंजन है उसे वहां भेजा जाना है। जाहिर सी बात है कि न सिर्फ बिहार की ताकत बढ़ेगी बल्कि पूरे विश्व में भारत की ताकत बढ़ेगी, क्योंकि इंडिया में बने हुए लोकोमोटिव्स को, रेल इंजन को अब दूसरे कंट्रीज में एक्सपोर्ट किया जाएगा। और जो जानकारी हमें मिल रही है कि पहले लॉट में तो न्यू गिनी को एक्सपोर्ट किया जाना है। आने वाले समय में कई ऐसे फॉरेन कंट्रीज हैं जो ऑर्डर हमें देने वाले हैं। तो ये बहुत ही बड़ी बात है कि जहां पर मेक इन इंडिया के तहत मेड इन इंडिया सारी चीजें जो है इंजन का एक एक पार्ट इंडिया में बना हुआ है और अब उसे एक्सपोर्ट करने की बारी आ रही है। तो ये बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है इंडिया के लिए। दूसरी अगर बात करें तो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी कई सारी रेल योजनाओं का भी उद्घाटन और शिलान्यास करने वाले हैं। उसमें देवरिया वैशाली जो रेल रूट है वो बेहद महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि लंबे समय से लोगों को इसका इंतजार है। और आपको मैं बता दूं कि पटना से गोरखपुर के लिए नई वंदे भारत ट्रेन का वो इनॉग्रेशन करेंगे, फ्लैग ऑफ करेंगे, जहां कल तक जाने में 11 घंटे लगते थे, 12 घंटे लगते थे, अब वो दूरी सिमट कर 7 घंटे की हो जाएगी। पटना से गोरखपुर जाना, पटना से मुजफ्फरपुर जाना, पटना से मोतिहारी जाना, बेतिया जाना अब बिहार के लोगों को काफी आसान होगा। और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि उनका समय बचेगा। इसके अलावा कई सारे जो रेल परियोजनाएं हैं उसका भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी आज शिलान्यास करने वाले हैं, उद्घाटन करने वाले हैं और इसको लेकर लोगों में काफी खुशी है।
All right, in fact, Ritesh, continue to be with us. What we are getting are the more updates from Bihar as far as these developments are concerned. BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad has also spoken on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Bihar. He has said, and I quote, that he's coming there to inaugurate various projects and lay the foundation stone of several others. PM Modi is dedicating development to Bihar, and along with Nitish Kumar, he has made announcements at several places. Several other initiatives of the Nagar Nigam in Patna will also be launched. Let's listen into this statement.
कई कार्यक्रमों का उद्घाटन करने आ रहे हैं, कई का शिलान्यास करने आ रहे हैं। बिहार के विकास के प्रति हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी बहुत समर्पित हैं। स्वयं नीतीश कुमार जी के साथ कई जगह उन्होंने बार बार घोषणा भी की है, तो आप वो आ रहे हैं तो उनका स्वागत है, अभिनंदन है। कल मेरे लिए बहुत प्रसन्नता की बात है कि कल वो जब पटना गोरखपुर वंदे भारत का बटन दबाएंगे तो मैं पाटलिपुत्र स्टेशन से उसकी हरी झंडी दिखाऊंगा। तो पटना से गोरखपुर जाने के लिए ट्रेन कम थी, वो पटना से जाएगी सोनपुर, मुजफ्फरपुर, तो वंदे भारत इन सभी इलाकों से गुजरते हुए जाएगी। और बाकी पटना में कई नगर निगम के बड़े अभियानों की शुरुआत होगी। संभवतः बिहार का सबसे बड़ा जो सिविक क्लिनिक है उसका भी कल दीघा में उद्घाटन करेंगे प्रधानमंत्री जी।
All right, Ritesh Mishra joining me live on the broadcast on that. Now, even BJP MP Ravi Shankar Prasad has given out a statement, Ritesh, and he has also, in fact, reiterated that for the vision to make Bihar ahead of the assembly elections, there are many key projects that are being also inaugurated and being put in focus. He's also going to initiate various water supply and power infrastructure projects. Ritesh, what more can you add here?
अब बिल्कुल देखिए कि बिहार विधानसभा चुनाव से पहले 6,000 करोड़ की जो योजनाएं हैं उसका उद्घाटन है, शिलान्यास है। कई सारी चाहे रेलवे के प्रोजेक्ट हो, वो प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत हो, बहुत सारी योजनाओं का प्रधानमंत्री आज उद्घाटन करने वाले हैं। और पटना से लेकर बक्सर तक की बात करें, इसके अलावा आरा की बात करें तो एसटीपीज और वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स का वो आज उद्घाटन करने वाले हैं। तो ये बहुत बड़ी बात है कि लोगों को पीने का शुद्ध पानी मिले। इसके अलावा वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स यानी जो गंदा पानी जो नदियों में जाता है उसको लेकर कई बड़े प्लांट जो हैं, बिहार में सबसे बड़ा प्लांट लगाया जा रहा है, पटना में सबसे बड़ा प्लांट लगाया जा रहा है और इसका भी आज उद्घाटन प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी करने वाले हैं। इसके अलावा कई सारे पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स का भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी आज उद्घाटन करने वाले हैं, जिसमें पटना, बक्सर, आरा, सासाराम ये सारे जो जिले हैं वो शामिल हैं। और जाहिर सी बात है कि इसका फायदा, इसका बेनिफिट आने वाले चुनाव में बीजेपी को जरूर मिलेगा। जी,
for joining us live on the broadcast and sharing more inputs as far as these developmental projects that are being inaugurated today after Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Bihar is concerned. Now, let's also take a look at more programs that are scheduled for PM Modi in Odisha. Odisha Chief Minister Mohan Charan Majhi reviewed the arrangements and preparations ahead of PM Narendra Modi's visit. He's also going to mark the first anniversary celebration of the BJP government led by CM of Odisha, Majhi, and today the Prime Minister is also going to lay the foundation stone of multiple developmental projects worth 18,600 crore rupees in Bhubaneswar. Joining me live on the broadcast is my colleague Akhya Maharana. Now, Akhya, in fact, Odisha Chief Minister has reviewed the arrangement ahead of the PM's visit. While this is also going to be marking Prime Minister's Odisha Vision document, which is very key for the policies that have been put in focus after BJP government has completed a year in Odisha, focusing on 2036, marking Odisha's centenary as India's first linguistic state. and in 2047 India's independence centenary. Now his agenda includes recognizing women achievers from the state as well, and apart from that, what all remains to be at the inauguration dais as far as PM Modi lands in Odisha?
18,000 से ज्यादा जो प्रोजेक्ट है उसको हरी झंडी यहाँ से दिखाएंगे और जो एक साल पूरे होने के जो सेलिब्रेशन है उसमें जुड़ने वाले हैं। और कल जो चीफ मिनिस्टर मोहन चरण मांझी हैं, कल जनता मैदान गए थे, कैसे उसका अरेंजमेंट है वो जायजा लिए थे। तो कहीं ना कहीं जो ये जो सरकार है, सरकार महिलाओं को और युवाओं को, सारे जो लोग हैं उनको कहीं ना कहीं जुड़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और तमाम ये में देख लीजिए कि इनके जो एक साल के जो शुरुआत में जो जगन्नाथ मंदिर के 4 द्वार खोलना है और जो सुभद्रा योजना के जो लोगों को जोड़ना है, महिलाओं को जोड़ना है, महिलाओं को सशक्त करने की बात कही जा रही थी। तो कहीं ना कहीं इसको कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाए और कैसे लोगों तक उन जो योजना है पहुंचे, उस तहत तक इन्होंने बहुत काम किया हुआ है। तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो सरकार है, सरकार लोगों तक पहुंचने की कोशिश किए हुए हैं। सरकार लोगों तक पहुंच के कैसे योजनाओं को लोगों तक पहुंचा जाए, कैसे लोग को पता चले कि क्या कुछ योजनाएं चल रहा है। तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो सरकार है एक साल में लोगों तक पहुंचने की कोशिश किया हुआ है और लोगों को जाके कैसे इस योजना के लाभ लेना है वो भी समझाएं। तो कहीं ना कहीं ये एक साल में प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी आना और लोगों को अभिवादन करते हुए एयरपोर्ट से जनता मैदान तक रोड शो करना भी लोगों के मन में खुशी है, लोगों के मन में उत्साह है। लोग आज लगभग कई सारे लोग जुड़ेंगे, जैसे बताया ये जा रहा है कि 2 लाख से ज्यादा भी लोग हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि जनता मैदान में लगभग 2 लाख लोग से ज्यादा अरेंजमेंट होने की बात कही जा रही है। उसमें और भी लोग जुड़ने वाले हैं और कहीं ना कहीं जो महिलाएं हैं, जिस महिलाओं को सुभद्रा योजना में लाभ मिला है, सुभद्रा योजना में किस्ती के तहत लोगों को, जो महिलाओं को 5,000 ये में मिला है। तो कहीं ना कहीं जो लोग हैं वो लोग इस जो इस समारोह में जुड़ेंगे आज।
All right, okay. Thank you very much for adding these details and in fact putting this in perspective. Now, Bharat 2047 Policy Governance and Technology for Global Superpower program was organized in the national capital. Many people, including Rajya Sabha MP Kartikeya Sharma, Israeli Ambassador Rian Azar and Puducherry Secretary Padma Cheswal have participated in this program. On this occasion, Kartikeya Sharma has explained in detail what the Modi government has done for the startup ecosystem, digital transformation, youth innovation and developed India. Let's listen into this address.
I want to first of all start off with thanking His Excellency Ambassador Azar, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, Dr. Abhishek Tandon, all the panelists, GCTC, Mr. Tikku, for putting together this event. I just wanted to start off my speech with, understanding the relevance and the importance of the innovation space and especially the startup ecosystem as we embark on the journey, and when we will celebrate our 100th independent anniversary in 2047. We are on our way to becoming a developed economy, what the Honorable Prime Minister talks about, a Viksit Bharat. It's not overnight that you build a developed country. The whole idea about it is to build it bite by bite, brick by brick, bring in those transformational changes right from the foundation that allow an ecosystem of startups to thrive. The kind of ecosystem that has been created with policy in the last 10 years, 11 years of the government, where a foundation has been laid to enable the startups and the ecosystem, particularly and what's most interesting to look at the Indian startup ecosystem, that out of the about close to 200,000 startups that are there in India today, which with the valuation of in excess of $350 billion, majority of them are coming from youngsters who are under the age of 35, and a majority of them are coming from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Now, this has been made possible because we are not only giving opportunities to the younger generation, because India represents the youngest population in the world, where more than 65% of our population is under the age of 35, but also is empowering those and is breaking away from the concept of elitism, where it's only the largest cities which will produce startups. Now, that's something which stands testament to the way the government has put out policy and has brought transformation and created a conducive environment for startups to thrive and to do well. I mean, if you look at, there were about $12 billion that were raised this year within the financial year itself for the equity, in terms of equity for the startup ecosystem, and that is just a tip of the iceberg, because the whole idea of transformation over here was laid out with policies and schemes such as Digital India, UPI, Startup India, the Atal Tinker Labs, where you are democratizing the whole process and creating the ease of doing business in an ecosystem, whether it's your regulation, taxation, whether it is creating an environment where loans are easily accessible to the common man, the younger population who don't have the credentials, and also create an ecosystem. Like before me, the Honorable Ambassador spoke about it very briefly when he spoke about that the governments are not supposed to prod startups, but create an ecosystem which is conducive. And that is what is being done with the policy. UPI alone today, which is one of the largest digital transaction platforms in the world. I was just in a meeting today and I was informed that by 2029, almost 20% of our GDP, transactions of our GDP will happen through the UPI platform. That's a tectonic shift. That's a transformational shift in policy of how you can collaborate, how you can co-innovate, how you can work and create an ecosystem where other startups can co-inhabit those ecosystems and thrive. Now, we've seen that happening in Europe in a different manner. We've seen it happen in the US, we've seen it happen in Israel, we've seen it happen in various parts of the world. And there's a degree of separation in terms of what governments are doing in terms of policy, of how they are encouraging startups and to what extent they're going. The Honorable Ambassador right now, just before me, spoke about it, and it's a very pertinent point he made, that you have to protect the interests of your companies, your startups, your unicorns, till they reach a certain stage and size so they can take on the rest of the world, because they are coming with different backings, different ecosystems and different orientations where access to capital is not a problem, exposure is not a problem. So to do that and to create that environment definitely is the responsibility of the government, and the Indian government has been doing that very effectively. As a result of that, we see that roughly about close to 200,000 startups that exist in the Indian ecosystem and are coming from different walks of life, whether it's agri-tech, whether it's fintech, whether it's in the healthcare system. I mean, we have had new apps and new products which have been created which are akin to India itself and the Indian ecosystem. They are not only concepts which have been brought in and imported, while whether it's on the marketplaces and the direct sales and the retail products. Government has also managed to onboard roughly 20,000 startups through the GEMS platform, which is the e-marketplace, and roughly in the space and the defense startup ecosystem, we've had more than 500 defense startup companies which have come into existence in the last 10 years, which has reduced dependency by more than 30% of imports on defense. Now, these are areas where we need to continuously keep on working, and we need to keep on innovating and evolving, where research and development The knowledge quotient, the knowledge transfer is something which is extremely important. Israel is a very good example of how they have used that to their advantage, of how they have taken the research from universities and taken it out from labs and taken it to operationalize and created concepts out of business models out of concepts. And I think that's something that India is also working on and is continuously working on towards that, in that direction. And while a large segment of our startups are in that retail space also, but we are working on creating solutions and value-based solutions which are akin to our problems, and that is something which is extremely important. So in this globalized era where technology is going through tectonic shifts and the world is seeing how technology is evolving. I mean, I was in the US for a delegation in a program just a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed that the Google search engine in the US has already changed and adapted to Gemini, which is their AI-based search engine. And whatever you're searching, 75% of your search page is only regurgitates the AI-based researches anymore. It's not even giving you. So they've changed the entire algorithms. They've changed the grammar, the language of how searches are conducted, how indexing happens. So we're seeing a whole transformation happen in the entire digital ecosystem. Now, this is a watershed moment, and this is a great opportunity for us, because when such tectonic changes happen, they also present you with a great opportunity for the lost out opportunities, where somewhere India got left behind in the last 2 decades, or maybe perhaps the last 3 decades. And I think this is a great opportunity for India to catch on to that knowledge bandwagon, where there is a reset button being hit, and India will embrace that opportunity. And that's what the entire digital expansion and the 2.0 version of Startup India would be about. It will be about creating cohesiveness, collaborations, more of research and development, more of collaborations in a different nature. And it's not only about what the government is supposed to do, or the central government or the state governments are doing, because the state governments are working in different capacities while creating whatever incentives and subsidies they can give. The central government has created different parameters, and by creating the entire digital infrastructure, reducing corruption, reducing inefficiencies, they have created the bedrock and the foundation for multiple ecosystems in multiple manifestations to come out. But having said that, we really need to work on and look at the way we are going to approach. So it's not just the governments, but it's platforms like GCTC. I'm happy to inform you that we created a new platform, Honorable Ambassador, on 1st of March, which was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister. It is called Next, and we dabbled into about 28 technologies and disciplines, which was next in space, next in AI, next in quantum computing, next in mobility, and so on and so forth, which is basically a confluence of knowledge, exchange of ideas, efficiencies, and how that entire ecosystem can collaborate, not only to create solutions to problems that exist in a marketplace, but also to create solutions to problems that exist within governments, within efficiencies and the inefficiencies that we are plagued with. All governments all over the world are plagued with. So it's a confluence of that, and so we had the entire space startup ecosystem with us. We had Chinese psychonauts, we had American astronauts, we had Russian cosmonauts, and hopefully our astronauts will be called Gaganauts. So we had a combination of all of them, and we basically created a platform where exchange of ideas could come from, which was transcending boundaries and technologies. We found out a new technology called a company called Xfusion, who collaborated with one of the Indian space startups during that platform, who had created the strongest fusion beam, and from Osaka University, and when they could not get permission domestically to test it, they started using it to clear space debris. So we got them in touch with the space debris management company, and that's the kind of ecosystems we need to create. That's the kind of space we need to be in, which India is doing, and India is going to be a torchbearer. I can very proudly say that India was the cradle and the center of knowledge hundreds and thousands of years ago. And I think if India is going to become a Viksit Bharat, a developed economy by 2047, a vision that has been envisioned by our Honorable Prime Minister and is now shared by every Indian, it's 1.4 billion people, then I think that road leads to that through innovation, knowledge, research and development, and the entire startup ecosystem, which is extremely important to the Indian government, to the Indian people, and not only to take away anything, but to also understand the entrepreneurship that the Indian youth have, and a very large segment of them, whether it's defense or startups in any other area that I've spoken about. So all I want to say is it's a great opportunity, it's a watershed moment, and I think we are on our way. Collaborations and partnerships with friends like Israel, which have worked in the space of defense, in other areas, in healthcare, is something which will definitely lead the path and would also encourage many startups in India and younger entrepreneurs to actually unlock value propositions for their country, for the markets, for the consumers, for everyone. Thank you very much for inviting us and inviting me to be here, and it's a pleasure and honor to be here. It's all like always, GCTC and Aditya Tikku are always very gracious hosts. Thank you very much.